Gentlemen, my pleasure and privilege to welcome very warmly into our midst Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nexim, Mr. Robert Orya. We have had very close relationship with Nexim. We didn't have a choice anyway, given the work that they do and given the disposition and the diligence of the Managing Director. I was telling him in my office that it's such a coincidence that we've had Dr. Yemikale come this morning and him following very closely an hour or two after the departure of the Chief Statistician General. It's not easy to pull the big masquerades out of location, you know, and when you are in Abuja, it's even more delicate, you know, to make that happen. But we're so very grateful that the MD has found time to be with us this afternoon. He has had one engagement already, so we would have to be mindful of that and ensure that we do this as business-like as possible so that he can be free to return to Abuja, or at least to relax in Lagos if he chooses to do that. We have quite a number of our colleagues here. I won't want to bore you by introducing all of our people. I'll just introduce some of them, and I believe that the rest would pardon me. Philip is our editor. He's the one who does the cooking in the kitchen, and the rest of us work for him, really. Kola is our Chief Marketing Officer. Anthony is research editor. She runs our operation into the campuses and has been the man in charge of the initiative that we do with your support. Tayo is our senior economist, and of course Bashir, who has come from Abuja. And where's Onyesh? Okay, she's hiding behind the collar. And I think, gentlemen, you permit me, and so we can just go ahead and do this. Now, you know, I said earlier that we don't have a choice, that we must work with Nexim Bank, given the work that they do as catalysts, you know, for promoting economic development in the country. The MD clearly, sometimes they get it right in the government and appoint the right people. And yours is clearly one of such a case. It's not all the time that you find those heading government institutions with the kind of preparation that he has. And I think his work at Nexim is perhaps his first work in government. He's had a totally private sector background and experience. And so you shouldn't be too surprised that the success that is associated with him in the years that he's headed Nexim. We will straight away just yield the floor to him and ask you to make some opening comments, and thereafter we'll ask some questions. But let me just assure you before you start, we don't embarrass our guests. When we invite people here, we don't invite them and then embarrass them. And so be free, even in the course of talking to us, if there's anything you would rather is kept within us and not published, be free to let us know. But we want you to be able to not just pass information on to us, but to give us a very good understanding. And sometimes such understanding comes when you get, you know, things that you shouldn't report. So I thought I should assure you that yes, the seat is hot, but not in that sense. You're welcome again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank, and your every team. Let me quickly introduce my colleagues. Chinedu is the head of corporate communication, and Tayo is the head of strategic planning. We're excited to be here because we have had a very long-standing relationship with Business Day.
Thank you, sir.
And we have known Business Day to be a keeper of the boat.
Thank you, sir.
I keep fighting with my head of corporate communication. When there's an article on Nexim Bank and it's not in Business Day, I will tell you that it has not been published. So we're happy to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Like Frank said, some of us have not been in government. I got into government August 2009. when I was appointed the MD of Nexim Bank. We are still trying to settle down, understand the behavior of public servants. I'm not sure I'll be able to get into that kind of trap, but what we're going to discuss here is generally what we'll be able to do next year, where we see the Nigerian economy, some other aspects of the world economy and all that. It might appear to be in a structured form, but as we discuss, it's going to be very, very interactive.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so for today we are just looking at the external sector and what role Nexim play. The outline is the introduction, the global economy, the Nigerian economy, and then the Nigerian external sector, the 2013 outlook, the role of Nexim in some of the key sectors, and then some concluding remarks. Maybe I don't know whether I can start by telling you a little about Nexim, even though there's a role of Nexim. But Nexim was set up in 1991 as an export credit agency. It's a trade policy bank of Nigeria, and we have the primary mandate of deepening the external sector and diversifying the economy of Nigeria away from oil. So we don't touch anything that is oil related. We know that we have this oil. This oil will finish one day, or even if it does not finish, we woke up one day, there will be no market.
And nobody wants the oil anymore.
No market for this oil. So we are set up to provide finance, to provide risk-bearing facilities, that is credit guarantee and insurance, to provide trade and market information. And when I came in 2009, I added financial advisory services, to Nigerian exporters. So let me have that background. But we have to look at an overview of the global economy in 2012. And the IMF statistics have shown that the global growth has declined to 3.6% in 2012 from 3.9% in 2011. And this has been attributed mainly to the persistent contraction in the Eurozone. All of us know what is happening in the Eurozone. There's no demand. The whole place is debt-ridden, and less than expected growth in emerging economies. Talk about the economies of Brazil, India, China, and the rest of them. We still find that growth is slowing down. Growth in the Eurozone area declined by 0.4% in 2012 from a growth of 1.4% in 2011. Emerging economies of India and Brazil, they are also declined to 4.5% and 1% respectively, from the 7.9% for India and 2.7% for Brazil in 2011. And the global contraction also impacted adversely on African economies. The growth in sub-Saharan has also declined, from 5.3% in 2011 to 4.8%. 2012. Now, what is happening in the Nigerian economy? Before we leave the global economy, all of you, I'm sure, as reporters for Business Day, the financial crisis that we had in 2007-2008, it is only Africa and some part of Asia that stimulated the demand for the world economy to begin to recover. There's no demand in America. Of course, in Europe, you know what is happening. Yeah. So we are now at this level where we should take advantage of our God-given resources. The destiny of the world economy is in the hands of Africa. And when you talk about Africa, you talk about Nigeria, because we are the gateway to Africa. And we have all the commodities. We are now at a stage where we should forget exporting raw commodities to these countries, where they process them and send them back to us. They sell to us 10 times what we... So everybody is coming. So we have gotten to a stage where we should determine to the West and even some of the emerging countries that look, this is what we have and this is what we are expected to do with these raw materials. Now, what about the Nigerian economy? Of course, we have recorded some strong growth, though at a very lower rate, you know, compared to what happened in 2011. The statistics from Caleb office, you know, show that we're estimating that for this year it's going to be 6.99% as against the 7.76 in 2011. And the growth in Nigeria it has continued to be driven by non-oil, which rose by 8.25% as against a decline of 0.79 in the oil sector. You see, this is where Nigerians need to be very, very alive to what is happening. The revenue of the government, almost 70% of total revenue of the federal government comes from oil. In terms of export revenues, foreign exchange revenues, we're talking about almost 94–95%. In spite of this alliance, what is the contribution of oil to our GDP? How many people are being employed in oil and gas sector? Not many. So we know that we are sitting on a time bomb. It's just a matter of time. Meanwhile, we have sectors that have huge potentials that we have not even been able to scratch them. If you talk about agriculture, you talk about solid minerals. Solid minerals is huge. The total export of South Africa in 2011, I think it was about $94 billion. 60% of their export revenues came from mining. The endowment of Nigeria and South Africa, Nigeria has a better endowment because we have 34 solid minerals in commercial quantities. Yet, as we speak now, solid minerals is contributing less than 1% to our GDP. So that should tell you that, look, that is a sector that is begging for investment. That is the sector that we can use in creating jobs for our teeming youths. That is the sector that we can use in reducing our reliance on oil. When we show you what the next slide, you can see that agriculture is contributing 39%. Solid minerals is because it's 0.4 is less than 1%.
Doesn't even show that.
It's showing you 0%. And that is where the money is. Now you have crude, petroleum, and natural gas. You know, it's just 15%. Manufacturing, 4%. Because of maybe the challenges that we have. Telecom is about 7%. Wholesale and retail trade is actually driving growth. That's about 20%, and then the hotel and restaurant 1%, and the others you have 15%. That is just to show you the growth in solid mineral has actually gone down. It's actually gone down to below the line. Yeah, the oil. Okay, oil that has gone down. So you can see that where we are sitting on a whole lot of money, we are becoming extremely very lazy because we are successful. Nigerians are so successful that we don't know how to manage success. I think that is our problem. When I get to my own state, I'm from Benue State. When I talk to my people, because we're a food basket, and I keep telling them that, look, when I get to my local government or my village, you have millions of naira scattered on the ground. My people will take small sand and put on top of it. They will put a chair and a table and be drinking beer and be saying that they don't have money because they are lazy to process these millions. You get to Benue, you eat a mango and you just throw the seed away. After 5 years, you are harvesting it. So we have good soil, good water, the market is there, we don't have preservation. During the season, tomatoes are wasting, mangoes are wasting, oranges are wasting, yams are wasting, everything is wasting. But our people are not prepared because you have a government that at the end of the month, people will come and distribute money. So everybody is looking at the government. At this point, we finish. We are beginning to see signs that in the next 5 years, if we don't diversify, we are going to be in trouble. Like I said, that it's part of all that. Our export is dominated by oil. And data from MDS, the total export for third quarter of 2012 was 72.75 billion US dollars, of which oil export was 70.57, or about 97%. So it's a problem. Projected year-end non-oil earnings of 2.9 billion also indicates that the sector has been stagnant when you compare with the total non-oil export of 3.15 in the preceding year of 2011. And the external sector, it has continued to be affected by the persistent recession in the OECD countries, manifesting a declining demand and falling prices of our export. For non-oil export, the major market, the major destination for our own non-oil export is the Eurozone. And because they have financial crisis, there's no much demand for us to sell our non-oil exports. So it is affecting what we have. The only thing we can do now is whatever thing that we have, add value. Process it. Because that is basically what they were doing. They will buy our raw commodities, process it, and sell it back to us. So we should be able to process, add some value to what were our own commodities. Like I've said, the imports from advanced economies, they have declined sharply from 4.46% in 2011 to about 1.2% in 2012. Similarly, average non-oil commodity prices declined by 99.8% in 2012, as against an increase of 17.8%. So you can see that everything is tilting towards the next. Other domestic factors affecting Nigeria's external sector is poor value addition. We are not adding value to our own commodities. Limited investment in key sectors. Like we are talking about if you have very serious investors in the solid minerals, in agriculture, that will diversify the external sector of the Nigerian economy. And then poor market access. I will come to that because some economies have gone to a level that they create market access for their own entrepreneurs. They have risk mitigating instruments that they create, that they follow their exporters. We have not been able to get to that level. So the market creation for our own exporters is extremely limited. I'm sure these are just what we have in the budget since the federal government launched the transformation agenda in 2011. Emphasis has actually been on how to diversify the Nigerian economy so that we can increase the foreign exchange earnings, create jobs for Nigerians, and then alleviate poverty. Within the context of the transformation agenda, the 2013 budget has been approved with the theme fiscal consolidation with inclusive growth. The budget, which is with a projected growth rate of 6.5%, of course, the benchmark of the oil price that we use was 79. You know the kind of problems that the executive has with the legislation. And we're expecting a gross revenue of 10.84 trillion naira, 65 of which is expected to be contributed by oil. It has even come down. Where it used to be 70, 75, it is coming down. The expenditure estimates show a progressive increase in the proportion of capital expenditure, which grew by 21% to 1.54 trillion. as against a decline of 29% in the current expenditure to 2.44. I think what the new minister is trying to do, the coordinating minister, is move more funds for development, move more funds for capital development rather than for consumption. I've never seen an economy that will consume,
and then grow.
So gradually we are moving. It's been difficult, but gradually we are moving towards that. So one can say that that budget is the budget for growth. However, while the global economy is projected to grow by 3.5% in 2013, and this will be driven largely by increased manufacturing activities in China, three main risk factors continue to present challenges in Nigeria's external sector. Like I mentioned, the continued recession in Eurozone, because that is our major market for non-oil export. That will affect us. The second one is the spending cut in US. I'm sure all of you know that the US is saying we are spending too much. So that is likely going to affect the purchasing power. And you know that US is the biggest consumer market in the world, which is estimated at about 14 trillion US dollars. So if that is happening, it will affect the world economy. And then the quest for energy self-sufficiency in the United States, I think they had some deposits on reserve before. They now want to leverage on their own reserve. And that means that they are going to rely less on the oil import from Nigeria. So we're beginning to see that Nigeria will have problems getting market for their oil. As we speak, we have almost 12, 13 African countries that have discovered oil. So if they have to not get into the market, some of them will go into the market with penetration pricing and strategies. So they might even give lower than what Nigeria, so it's a big problem for us.
The premiums are disappearing fast.
Exactly. The foregoing underscores the need for greater emphasis on Nigerian external sector, particularly the non-oil sector. From all this, there's nothing Nigeria can do apart from diversifying the external sector and not rely only on the export revenue from oil. It is heartwarming that the federal government has announced a number of fiscal incentives in the 2013 budget, specifically targeted at non-oil sector. And we hope that this will spur a lot of people, to get into doing business. That is the growth projection for 2013. The world, we have already gone through that. The Eurozone, as we said, these are the fiscal incentives for sugar. And then you have rice. I'm sure we can, when we leave the paper, we can look at that. Also looking at aviation, the problems that we have in aviation. The solid minerals that was spoken about, so that the people can get into it. And then the public mass passes. These are all the fiscal incentives that are embedded in the 2013 budget. Okay. Then in all this, what is the role of Nexim? Like I said, the bank was set up in January 1991 as an export credit agency, and is equally owned by Central Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Finance Incorporated. We are to promote the diversification of the Nigerian economy and develop and deepen the external sector by providing credit facilities, risk-bearing facilities, that is export credit guarantee and credit insurance, trade and market information, business and financial advisory services. We also complement in attracting foreign investment capital towards the development and growth of targeted industries and strategic sectors of the economy through availment of concessional lines of credit. We're also going to co-financing arrangements, and we facilitate buyer and supplier credit to aid the adoption and acquisition of new and clean technologies, and to enable them to have access to patent and intellectual property. Let me try and explain this. When I got into the bank in August 2009, I tried to look at the trend within the sub-region. Have the trade flows been increasing over the years? And I saw that the trade flows were not increasing. I now look at the markets that Nigerian exporters were serving, mainly Europe, America, maybe some part of Asia. And we had a lot of disputes, trade disputes, because they were not able to meet up with the standard required in these markets. Either they have not been able to meet an export order, or where they did, they won't be able to meet up with the standard. Yeah. So over the years, nothing was happening. So we try to look at how the other Exim banks, how the other regions have been able to develop, how they've been able to help their own exporters. And I discovered that whether it is India, whether it is Malaysia, whether it is America, they segregated their export market into two. They had their regional market and then the market outside their region. Their regional market was their traditional market. And then anything outside that is non-traditional. Like us in West Africa, the ECOWAS region will be our traditional market. We will first trade among ourselves, understand the intricacies of international trade, get acquainted with the kind of standard that is required outside our traditional market, so that when we move outside the ECOWAS sub-region, the respective governments will now follow the exporters with risk mitigating instruments like credit insurance to mitigate them against political risks, non-payment and all that. And by extension, you are now creating market access for your own entrepreneurs. Yeah. But because we don't have this, it's been extremely very, very difficult. Now, I wanted a situation where I will direct Nigerian exporters to come within the sub-region and take advantage of the huge potentials that we have. Because you find all other advanced economies, either they have branch offices or they have agency offices within the ECOWAS sub-region to take advantage of these potentials that we have. But you know, Nigerians were very, very, we are intoxicated with something that's foreign. If you ask somebody to say, oh, I want you to export your goods to Ghana, tell you what am I doing in Ghana? You know, so we needed to do something. We needed to come up with a sweetener, something that can make them come back. Okay. Even if not 100%, almost 50% will be done within the ECOWAS sub-region. And when we were to develop that product that will make funds available for the Nigerian exporters, we also saw that there's a huge challenge. When people are looking at the economies of Africa, everybody will tell you that South Africa is the leading economy. South Africa is the leading economy because they have data. For you to rate an economy, you must have data. The level of informal trade in South African economy is very low. It's less than 15%. In Nigeria, you have almost 50-50.
If not more.
If not more. And then we try to say, look, if you develop a product that you say is targeted at deepening trade within the ECOWAS sub-region, how do you capture that data? If you get to Kano, the people in Kano have been trading with the people in Niger and Mali. If you get to Katsina, if you get to Semaboda here, if you get to Borno, if you get to Calabar, it's the same. These people have been trading, some of them for more than 50 years. If you ask them to give you a sheet of paper like this, they don't have it. And these are the SMEs that are supposed to be the engine of growth in our economy. They don't have it. So we needed to first find a way of formalizing this trade. Because if you formalize this trade, even if not for anything at all, for statistical planning, it will help the government in planning. Because we don't talk about the trade volume is high. How do you quantify that? And if we have that, I can assure you that we are 20 times ahead of South Africa. But right now, we don't have any data to rate our economy. That's number one. Number two, despite the huge informal trade that is going on, these people will walk over, assuming that they will walk over to the Republic, sell their goods in cash, put their cash in the pocket, and walk back. I would say this cannot happen. We should be able to find a way of deepening the payment system. Let us encourage these people to begin to make payment through the banking channel. The Nigerian economy, based on what other Exim banks are doing, we have gotten to a level where we should be giving buyer credit facilities to some economies so that we can make our export more competitive. If I'm manufacturing this paper in Nigeria and I want to sell to somebody in Ghana, and you have people from other countries producing the same paper, giving the same credit terms, for me to be competitive, to have an edge over others, Nexim should be able to give the potential buyer of this product money. That means a Ghanaian. Nexim should give that person money to buy my own product.
That's right.
And Nigeria, our economy has gotten to a level where we should be doing that. If you get to the markets of all the member states of ECOWAS, the major products that we find here are Nigerian products. The Nigerian product. So we now develop this product which we call ECOWAS Trade Support Facility. And we put out some money. We say, look, this should be a sweetener to encourage these people to begin to make payment to the banking channel. And next thing we are planning that by 2015, we are discussing with our stakeholders, enhance our share capital so that we can use part of it to begin to give buyer credit facilities. Right now, we are availing those buyer credit facilities from other Exim banks. I have about $20 million US from Exim Bank of India. That 20 million, I cannot use it for any other transaction apart from people that are either importing machines from India or industrial raw materials from India. Our economy has gotten to a level that is what Nigeria should be doing, at least within the sub-region. We have 308 million people within the ECOWAS sub-region. We control 170 million. The GDP of ECOWAS, our contribution is over 60%. The political and financial institutions that are owned by ECOWAS, if Nigeria say yes, it's yes. If we say no, it's no. Yeah. But we have not been able to take this the next step. In 1990s, we fought in Liberia to restore peace. If you get to Liberia now, the young people that are about 15, 16, up to 20, all of that, they are all fathered by Nigerians. They are all fathered by Nigerians. But what happened? We lost people, we lost money. When the war ended and it came to reconstruction, Nigeria pulled out. If America tell you that they are going to Pakistan, America is only promoting trade and investment. If they tell you that they are looking for Osama bin Laden, they are protecting their trade and investment. Now, when it came to Nigeria to stay back and partake in the reconstruction of Liberia, we pulled out and allowed small countries like the Lebanese, the Americans, the Chinese people. Meanwhile, the Liberians at that time, because we stayed in Liberia for some time, they were used to Nigerian products, the same way we are used to imported products here. Now, when we pulled out, These people came here and said, the only way we can take advantage of these people is to work on their psyche. They will go manufacture on a field of products and inscribe on it, made in Nigeria.
Wow.
They will make a lot of money. As we speak now, if you get to any supermarket and you buy all these daily Indomie, toothpaste and all that from other labor brothers, and you are able to have an efficient transportation system and take it to Orya, the minimum you can make is 100%. That's the minimum that you can make. It's 100%. But nobody has been able to look at how do we take advantage of the huge trade opportunities that we have within the ECOWAS region. What are we doing with our democratic profile? Is it only to contribute to ECOWAS? If you look at the sharing formula or the distribution to ECOWAS, to manage ECOWAS, it's on Nigeria that is concerning that issue. No other person. No other person. But what are we doing? We're not taking advantage of it. I'm a government person, so I'm not criticizing government. But if you get to ECOWAS Commission, some of the key positions that we're supposed to be holding as the major financial contributor, they are given to obscure countries. Very obscure countries. Very obscure countries. So what are we doing? That's why I keep saying that we are too successful in this country. When people talk about corruption, it is not corruption. We have gone beyond corruption. It is greed. Some people have enough to eat. It is only when you don't have enough to eat that you are looking for something to supplement. They have, but they want to gather for their children's children. That becomes greed. It's because we are too successful. So, some of these things that we are talking about, like the buyer and supplier credit, we are getting some of these buyer credits. We are getting some of these loans, like the $20 million US that we got from Nexim Bank of India, so that we can bring in new technology that be able to produce goods that will meet national standards for our own people. And now we are talking about the clean development mechanism. You saw what happened last year. Those are the effects of the climate change, and I think this year the signs that we are seeing they are more disturbing because every day everybody is sweating like So we are looking at how do we. Now this was the bank that I met. There was an alarming decrease in the quality of these assets. And as a result, there was a decline in bank income. I made a total loan portfolio of 14.6 billion. 72% was non-performing. In fact, in absolute terms, 10.03 billion was classified lost in line with the potential guidelines. My shareholders, in fact, Central Bank did not want to hear the name Nexim. On the talk of putting in one cover. They didn't want to hear the name because over the years they had contributed equity, no dividend. The bank has an authorized and call-up share capital of 50 billion. As at the time I resumed, 32.74 billion was still unpaid. Because they had lost faith in the bank. Now, the executive leadership, I'm not criticizing anybody, but the people that I met or I took over from, they distracted from the core mandate. I told you we are not supposed to intervene in oil. Any oil-related transaction, we're not supposed to be there. But they were lending both to oil and non-oil. And then there was huge depletion of the bank shareholders' funds as a result of accumulated losses. The day I resumed, I think what I saw on the books was 15.85 billion, which was contributed from 1991 to date. But what you saw in the books was 9.3. The rest were taken off by accumulated losses. So the shareholder fund that I made on the book was 9.3 billion.
Wow.
The rest was taken off by accumulated losses. Yes. Then we have ineffective risk management framework. It was very surprising that the total loan portfolio of the bank at that time was 14.6 billion. 10.03 billion was considered lost in line with the prudential guidelines. I wanted to find out how can we carry this kind of loan portfolio. There must be a reason. And the reason I found out subsequently was that there are two key pillars that even in your office here, if you don't have them, there's no way you'll be successful. Worst for a financial institution. There was absence of a robust risk management framework. And then even adhering to corporate governance was a challenge. So if you don't have a robust risk management framework and good corporate governance, even if it's your own family company,
fire on the mountain.
You're just doing fire on the mountain. There's no way you can be successful. That was what we found out. Now, there was lack of critical skills. I met people that had significant skill gaps. People that cannot speak and understand the language of the industry. And whether we like it or not, an Exim bank is an international bank.
It is.
So I needed to bring in people that we speak, understand the language, discuss with other officials in other Exim banks very well. Because once you leave the shores of this country, if you are discussing with other Exim bank of India or US or China, you are talking as a representative of Nigeria and not of Nexim bank. So I needed to bring in very professional, very highly skilled people that can drive the performance of the bank. In spite of the fact that we didn't have money, there was tolerance of excess and escalating overheads. They were still spending money. And where was that money coming from? The money was coming from a shareholders' funds. It was not from any income that was generated. And we needed to block all these leakages. So our focus was to how do we reverse this problem, and also try to ensure that the bank contributes significantly, to the economic development of Nigeria. Now we came up with a 5-year roadmap, which was anchored by KPMG. Let us have a strategic direction. For the next 5 years, where do we want to be? Which sectors are we going to play in? The non-oil sectors. Can we play in all the non-oil sectors? Do we have the money? So we now call KPMG to assist us in calling the Project Spring, which is what we call. So we look at the risk management framework, design and roll out. We now have a very robust risk management framework. We have to review all our business processes, because some of them were very archaic. And then we have come up with a performance management structure. We say that we're a government institution, but we have a commercial orientation. We don't take money from the federation account. We have two shareholders that pay in equity, and as long as it is equity, they need a return. We have to pay them dividends. So we cannot run that shop as a pure government institution. And I said that, look, what we need to do is that each and every staff, we will pay you based on your performance. If your salary is 10 naira, I'm not going to pay you 10 naira. I will set aside 3 naira. The other 3 naira will be paid to you at the end of the year based on your performance. So we came up with this performance management that at the end of the day we have to evaluate what each and every person is doing. If your salary is 10 naira, we don't pay you 10 naira. Put aside 3 naira. And because you know that if you don't work, you lose the 3 naira. So everybody is working. Now we needed to rebrand the bank. A lot of people didn't know what was next. Even in my own village, when they appointed me and they say, oh, they have been appointed MD on Nexim. So somebody will say, they say they have appointed our son Nexim. We don't know what is Nexim, whether it is a microfinance bank or whatever. You know, because that awareness was not created. So we need to rely the bank and create awareness so that when we hit the international arena, we should be hitting the market as a different bank. The HR, we have to realign it, because even the way we were employing people, it was not based on the basis of competence. So the whole organizational structure will have to change. So we came up with a 5-year business plan with a good corporate governance and risk management architecture, the brand strategy and the brand engagement strategy. We have clearly defined roles and responsibilities for everybody and even for the board. Our governance structure has become so robust because we are into creation of risk assets, that is giving loans. Yeah. The structure we made on the ground was such that you are the appraising officer. A credit will leave from you and come to ESCO, the executive committee. And I said no, because the MD can influence the department. And I said no. Going forward, let us come up with a very, very robust value chain. So credit moves from the appraising officer or the appraising department, we call them business development, and then I created another committee. That committee I call it Management Credit Committee. That Management Credit Committee is made up of all the head of departments, irrespective of the fact that you are either you're in operations, you are in accounts and whatever. Until all these head of departments, the whole head of departments in the bank, until they pass that credit, they cannot come to us. In that way, the MD cannot influence a credit. If I have to influence a credit, I have to lobby all the head of departments that look, this credit, I have interest in it. So going forward, the kind of loans that we are creating now, very quality loans. So if the MD says, I'm going to give you a loan, bring the loan, I'll give. If we only tell you, we only guide you, I want to guide you that do this, do this, do this. Because until it passes the management credit committee, it cannot come to ESCO. Yeah. But what was happening was that the MD or the ED will just talk to the president office, I have interest in this, and then go and do this and bring it and come straight to ESCO. And the things that is no longer there.
Wow.
Now we have to come out, like I was saying, we needed to come up with a clear market focus. Again, which are the sectors? We are focusing on our served markets as well as the sectors. The unserved markets, like I said, with the airports, a lot of people, even if they have a wine grain, they want to sell it to people in outside Africa. So we said, look, for us, our market should be ECOWAS. From ECOWAS, look at the rest of Africa, we look at Asia, and then the developed economies. So it's only Asia that we still have some elements of demand. You don't have demand in these developed economies at all. Now, what are the non-oil sectors? Because we didn't have enough money, there was scarcity of funds. We needed to now focus on those sectors that we believe have very high growth potentials in terms of creating jobs for Nigerians, generating foreign exchange, and then unleashing the potentials. So we say manufacturing. Of course, manufacturing has its own problem, all the challenges. But I still believe that as a development finance institution, if we are able to get long-term concessional funding, the challenges that we have of power and order will not be as daunting as we have it now. Now we don't look at the agriculture, we say, look, let us look at the agro-processing value chain, value addition for our agricultural products. Then the solid minerals, this is a sector that nobody has been looking at. But we have gone inside, it's been very difficult, but the role of a development finance institution is for you to get into some of these high-risk sectors that you believe have potential. De-risk it. Once you de-risk it and make it attractive to commercial banks and they begin to come, then you have done it and you go to another place. Now we're looking at the services sector, we're looking at transportation, we're looking at tourism and entertainment. Let's go ahead. Well, this has been the intervention, the funding support that I've given, the jobs that we'll be able to create, and then the annual estimated foreign exchange since the time I took over in August 2009, be able to give about 28.1 billion. That is capable of generating 17.116 direct jobs, in addition to indirect, and then the estimated foreign exchange annually 228 million US dollars. Now, when I got in 2009, I explained that I inherited huge non-performing accounts. So I tried to look at all of them and I said, those ones that I believe are not doing well, let me clean the balance sheet. Let me provision all of them. So I took a substantial one and said, please put it on our bottom line. So for that 2009, we made a loss of 5.46 billion because I wanted to start on a very clean slate. Yes. But by the end of 2010, I had made a profit, which was audited, of 189 million.
Interesting.
Yes, and I paid dividends for the first time to Central Bank and the Federal Ministry of Finance.
Wow.
The last time they paid dividends in that bank was in 2003. When I got in 2009, CBN was supposed to give me 25 billion. Because like I said, 50 billion is the authorized and corruption capital. CBN for 20 years had only given 6.7 billion. And they didn't want to stake any other kobo. But when I went and presented my strategy, my roadmap, they were very excited. In fact, they kept looking at my strategy and they were asking me that, is this team actually coming from Nexim? I say yes, it's coming from Nexim. The good thing is that after that, they told me they were very satisfied. They took my strategy to the board of Central Bank. And the board of Central Bank said, this is a serious, a serious management. And whatever thing that you have outstanding, pay them. So they now paid us 18.23 billion, which is what worldwide. Which is in 16 months, we were able to get 18.23 billion as against almost about 16 billion in 20,
How many years?
In 20 years. So to us, we felt that was a very major, achievement. And again, we were able to re-establish as an export agency. You cannot work alone. You have to work with other Exim banks, with other multilateral agencies. Look at this one, by our colleagues were not right, but I need to give this. Yes. When I got in 2009, the first Exim bank that I wanted to deal with was US Exim. And when I contacted them, they told me bluntly, that if Nigeria has an Exim bank, they don't know.
Wow.
Yes. Because the place was worse than a community bank.
Wow.
Because you see, I got in 2009. I am not criticizing those people, but you see, we must be able to run government enterprises as our own. Who is government? Government is me and you. That money belongs to. It's because of order. How this money will be distributed. That we have president, we have a national assembly, we have that. Because that money belongs to everybody. It's how this money can be distributed in an ordinary manner that you have all these structures. We took over in August 2009. The accounts, that's just like you now. Your daily transaction that you need to capture and put in the account. The last one that we had that they can produce a balance sheet and put in a loss account and give you was April. Even community bank don't run an institution like that. Was April.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yes. So when that thing happened, we were extremely very, very happy. So when I got that kind of response from US Exim, I would tell my staff that to me that is a motivation. And being motivated, we commence our transformation. By June, I got a call from the US Embassy, June 2010. I got a call from the US Embassy that the US Exim officials were coming to Nigeria and wanted to meet with me. I told the man that no, this is the MD on Nexim Bank. He said yes, the MD on Nexim Bank. You know. So I said, okay, let them come. And they came and they were very excited. So we've been following what has been happening. I told them, look, right now I don't have a good balance sheet. I need time to prepare this balance sheet. So I cannot go to you and say, give me a line of credit. But I said, look, they are lending heavily in the sub-Saharan region, so we can collaborate on information sharing. And they now graciously made an offer to me that look, we can assist you to build capacity for yourself.
Wow.
And they now invited me to come over to Washington. And I was there in July 2010. So to me that was the beginning of good things to come. Exim Bank of India had given a buyer credit facility of 5 million in 2007. Immediately after that, they cancelled the facility. So when I came in, I saw it on the books, and I quickly went to India and I told the chairman I want to make use of this facility. He told me they have cancelled this facility a long time ago. That even if Nigeria is running an Exim Bank the way it should be run, their board has cancelled that.
Wow.
So I'll come back and tell my staff and tell my board that look, to me that's the motivation. I'm not discouraged. And I just continue with our transformation. We're just working. In July 2011, we went to Portugal for the annual general meeting of African Development Bank. Exim India people were looking for us in Portugal. Asked everybody, where are these people from?
Nigeria.
They're from Nigeria. We eventually caught up with them. We settled for a meeting. And people told us, oh, they're following what we do and they are prepared to give us money. I say, yeah. What to give us money? I say, yes, okay. So they don't now ask me, how much do you want? I told them they should give me 20 million. That 20 million, we argue, we say, are you sure 20 million will be enough for you? I say yes, for a start. And they now promise that in 90 days you will come over to India and sign for this one.
Wow.
And that is exactly what happened. And they are telling us, look, if we have a transaction that is even up to $300 million US, as long as it's coming from India, we support it. So to me, I believe that if we are able to attract this level of investment capital, using Nexim as a platform, that these transactions or these projects will be able to, to generate jobs for us and then generate foreign exchange. In addition to it, to me, I believe that we are on the right track. This is what we'll be able to do. Manufacturing, we are putting 41.3, agriculture 23, solid minerals 7.4. We hope to increase our intervention this year. And then the services, we are looking at hotels. In line with the national tourism policy, any hotel that we recognize should be at least a 3-star hotel. But what we do in Nexim is that for us to finance a hotel, you must have a franchise from some of these institutions. Yes, you must have that franchise. We want a situation where tourists that are coming into Nigeria should be able to make a reservation in their home countries. So that when they are coming to know that yes, there is Hilton here, there's Best Western here, there's Golden Tulip here. Now, go back. the services again, we are looking at transportation. Because we are very much desirous of deepening trade. Deepening interregional trade within the airports of the country. We believe that transportation
is a key,
both in terms of maritime, in terms of airings, and even the road. Because right now we trade more on the road.
Yeah.
We trade more on the road. We move our goods by road more than any other means. Because the maritime we don't even have it. Discuss that. Now this is what we have in manufacturing our outlook for 2013. The sector currently contributes about 4.2% to GDP. You know, it has been growing at an average rate of 7.5. We expect that it will benefit from improved power delivery owing to the ongoing privatization of the power holding.
Yeah.
It has gone very far on the successor companies. It has been projected that power generation will increase from the current 4,000 megawatts to about 5,000 in 2013 and reach 10,000 in 2015. Yes. Also, increased spending of 74.26 on power and wide 3.5 billion in the works ministry will impact positively on the sector. That is what is contained, you know, in the budget. For this year, we intend to support the sector with 6.84 billion. That is in line with what we have. And we're looking at the key sectors of agro-allied, leather. We're doing so much in leather. If you get to Aba now, see the kind of leather products, whether it is shoes, whether it is a bag and all that, you will think, if you have not seen it before, you think it's coming from Italy. Now, we need to, as a development finance institution, we need to link the people that are doing leather in Kano with the people that are producing for the ECOWAS market in Aba. The people in Kano are called LAPAN, that is Leather and Allied Products Association of Nigeria. And then the Aba too, they have their own association. So what we decided to do, because you find some Italian companies, they are setting up projects in North Africa. They are setting up projects in North Africa to produce all these good shoes that we wear, Gucci and all this. And setting them in North Africa. Meanwhile, the quality of our leather is better than what they are doing in North Africa. But they come in here and buy it. Wow. So we want to use whatever thing that they're getting from Kano. Even if we cannot buy all, at least link the people in Kano with the people in Aba. We are financing the people in Kano. We are taking an insurance and saying that, okay, we give you money, you have the raw materials, move these raw materials, and we take cash in transit or whatever in transit policy. When you move them to Aba, they have warehouses. As soon as these goods are offloaded, it becomes the problem of Aba. But at least there is a way of feeding you with the raw materials, because they are now feeding the ECOWAS in your region. Interesting. So this is the way we feel that as a DFI, we cannot leave them. We cannot allow people to just come in and be exploiting them. Yeah. Let us bring the two of them together and see the kind of benefits that will come to the Nigerian economy. So we are get back. Now, okay, food and beverages, plastics, we are doing so much in that, and that is what I was explaining. The leather industry, we are linking Lapan in Kano with the Aba market. In the agricultural sector, you know that it remains the highest contributor to our GDP. It has a growth rate of 4.2%. And like we said before, it's going to benefit from various fiscal incentives, sugar, rice, and the rest of them. And that is expected to bring investment in the sector. Of course, a whole lot is happening. And I think we have a very aggressive Minister of Agriculture. So a lot of investment capital is being attracted in that sector. In 2012, we have gone through that before. We announced zero duty and level for agricultural machinery and equipment. That is a good thing. And then you have the CBN ISA, which was launched in 2012, just to do weeks the industry and then influence the cost of lending to the sector. For this year, we are thinking of putting 5.3 billion. But you see, when you link agriculture with manufacturing, most of what you have in manufacturing is more of agricultural manufacturing. Because if people are processing, it will be under manufacture, but by extension, it's agriculture. So one will be saying that why are you putting 6.84 billion in manufacturing and you are putting only 5.3? Most of what you find.
So it supports agriculture.
Yes.
I mean manufacturing.
Yes. In addition to the various interventions, our approach in 2013 will be to intervene in specific products that have high growth potentials. We just finished a SHIA conference, an international SHIA conference that was majorly sponsored by us, so that people can come in. We have some of these products that we are the largest producers, but we are not taking advantage of them. Like the SHIA, we are cassava. We are one of the largest producers of cassava in the world.
And can still do more.
And we can still do more. But as we speak now, nobody can tell you the quantity of cassava that is produced. There's no data. We don't even have it. But you have people from Vietnam, from which other country coming in. Because Thailand and the rest of them, because they have more than 10 products that they can chunk off out of cassava. Meanwhile, we're not even taking advantage of it here. So, like we mentioned, the SHIA, we have just finished a conference. We are the largest producer and exporter, but the export data is substantially missing because everything that's happening there is informal. It's informal, it's not captured. So we want to be able to structure the industry.
And then capture the transactions properly.
Exactly. So this has limited the access of key players in that sector to credit, in addition to excluding them from the export incentive like the export expansion grant, that when you export you have to take advantage of. Now, for us to address this challenge, we are working with the Nigerian chapter of the Global Share Alliance to organize the producers and traders into cooperatives. We believe that because it is a trade that is done on a micro level, they are so fragmented, it's better to bring them together in cooperative. It will be better for us to deal with them so that we can help them in business building capacity, develop suitable financial arrangement or programs for them, and develop a processing laboratory infrastructure so that we can enhance the quality of what they are producing. Now, my favorite sector, because anytime I look at what is happening in other countries, how they are able to take advantage of their mining, I wish for this country. Because the money there is more than what we can get from oil. But everybody is looking at oil because it's very easy.
It's easy.
Very easy. Now, we have 34 solid minerals in commercial quantities. As we speak, it's contributing less than 1% to GDP. What does that tell you? Huge potentials that have not been scratched. The sector is also benefiting from the fiscal incentives. We hope that an intervention fund, I think about 2 weeks ago, they inaugurated a board that will manage an intervention fund. We don't know the quantum of that intervention fund, but I think it's something that needs to be. It's a very commendable step. And this year we plan to make additional intervention of 1.7 billion in the sector. We hope to make more than that, but for now, we are working with some potential investors, you know, that want to come in, and we believe that if we are able to attract that huge level of investment capital and we complement it with our own intervention, I will be able to do more. Yes. And we believe that why don't we work with other government agencies so that we can help people to highlight opportunities in that sector and attract huge investors, maybe using concessional lines of credit, which is what I mentioned. You know, the sector is also fragmented. We have a lot of artisans. The artisans that are being exploited by the Chinese, you know, the Indians. They will just come in, get to one village, and you know, get these things and give it to them. They told me one story, and I keep making reference. There's one young guy. Is a guy from China. Young guy. They say he's about 25 years. He will come in here and use the artisans. I've been trying to track him. I just want to track him to know, have a meeting with him, know what he's doing, so that I will find a way of blocking it. He will come stay in Nigeria for about 2-3 weeks, and then export like 10 or 15 containers of solid minerals. He has 2 hotels in China. He's a Chinese boy, and he has been able to build these hotels from the money he's making with these artisans, these illegal miners. It's very funny life. When he gets to China, he will sell this land that he has, is this 8 or 12 rooms out of his hotel. So he will put gas in each room. He will put a gear there. He will enjoy himself for about 3 weeks and then come back to Nigeria. Meanwhile, me and you cannot make one single kobo. Something that is on our own soil. I'm trying to meet the guy. I will meet him and say, look, I'm Nexim, and make him happy, so I will get all the information. This is the kind of thing that is happening, and it's happening in all the sectors. We have so many products we are supposed to develop, not develop them. We have tea in this country. If you go to Adamawa and all that, we have coffee. If you get to Adamawa, some of the coffee trees, the villagers are just felling them because nobody has been able to develop it. There's so much. But nobody is looking at the non-oil export. Everybody is looking at oil. I know Frank. Frank is in oil. He gives me this paper. I don't even quit the contract. I give it to Tayo, and I get 200 million naira. So you ask me to come and take 50 million from there and go and do what with it. This is what is happening. Look at when they had this fuel subsidy probe, the kind of mind-boggling amount that they were calling.
And people that you never heard of before. Wow.
Last week I was 30 years in the bank. I learned of one boy that I think he finished which year? 3-4 years ago. He was a marketer in one of these banks, and then he left marketing, went into a company, and went into oil. As at the time they were talking about this boy, they had 3.1 billion naira.
Look at that.
3.1 billion naira.
Look at that. Billion.
Something is wrong somewhere. You know, so we need to step back as a people. We need to step back as a people. Because some of these children that we're not having children. Can't go on like this. We're having slaves. The rich will continue to oppress our children. But we think we have children. If we don't rise up now, we're having slaves. There will be slaves in this country. If a boy like that maybe the best that would have been in the bank now would have been assistant manager. Now he has 3.1 billion. Tell me what morality will he demonstrate in the society? 10
photo,
million.
the space in the newspaper.
No, they can buy the space.
Yes, to advertise his 40th.
No, they can buy
Exactly.
it.
Look at what happened to the other one now. Is it Oba? When it was his birthday, all papers. In fact, the papers did not do any other thing.
I thought it was him you were talking about.
There was no other thing.
It's somebody else. It's not Oba you were talking about.
Oba?
I thought it's the guy you were talking about.
No, somebody else.
Somebody else.
All of them are in the same district. All of them are in the same ship.
Oba has a private jet. You can't buy that.
So, for us to structure the industry, we are working very closely with the Miners Association of Nigeria, so that we can increase the advocacy in that sector and try to structure it. Now, one of the problems that we are having in the solid mineral sector is that we don't have laboratories.
Yeah.
So when you have a piece of a raw mineral and you sell it to China or to some of these internationally recognized, even if the properties are 10%, they will come and tell you that it's 2%. So they are exploiting us. So what we need to do, if we are serious, is for us to have standard laboratories that can test what we have here and the ones that are recognized internationally. Now, looking at the huge potential that we have, all the countries that are intervening heavily in mining or solid minerals, they have a mining calendar. Every year they have a mining calendar where if that calendar is approaching, all the stakeholders, all the investors, know that okay, this particular month, this particular week, all of us are going to be in Nigeria. So we need to have this. In fact, I'm going to have hold a meeting with the minister, next week, so we can discuss, some of these things. The young man is doing a very good, at least information. You cannot have information, on anything that you need about. But we need to establish it so that we'll be able to open up the sector to, foreign investors. Services is made up of transportation, entertainment, and tourism. In transportation, like I mentioned, we are looking at air, road, and sea. Entertainment. The creative and the entertainment sector is very huge. And I tell you a story why I have to intervene in entertainment. The first trip that I went outside the country when I was appointed in 2009 was to Zambia, where African Export-Import Bank would organize a trade finance conference. So after the opening ceremony, one lady who was a journalist walked up to me and said, good morning. I said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. And then she just bent down and said, Oga. She just bent down and said, Oga. So I turned and I asked her, how do you know that people like me are addressed as Oga in Nigeria? She said she had been watching Nigerian film. So as soon as she said that, I turned around, I went with one of my colleagues and said, this is a product that we must export. Because as we speak, as we are sitting here now, there's not even one purely indigenous product that we can export. Every other thing that we are exporting is value addition. You buy machines from this place, you produce them. So the only one that might be purely indigenous is the Nollywood. So as soon as I came back, I called my staff and I told them we must export. This is export of services. We're not beginning to see which Exim Bank is supporting entertainment. And we discovered that Exim Bank of India is the one financing Bollywood. Bollywood 15 years ago was in the same state that we have our own Nollywood. where if you want to make a film, you borrow money from your brother, or you borrow money from an Alabama marketer and all that. But they have been able to come up with very creative and innovative products that anybody, once you have the talents, you'll be able to come up with a film and there will be no leakage, unlike what we have, in this country. So, July 2010, I went to India, and I told them, look, I want to gain experience. I want to build capacity of my staff in film financing or entertainment generally, because this is what we have. Nollywood is number 3 in terms of revenues in the world. In terms of the number of films produced in a year, we are number 1.
Number one.
Because I can take this one here and produce a film. So, in terms of the number of films produced in a year, we're number 1. But this is a sector that had no support from government at all, had no support anywhere, and they'll be able to shoot themselves to number 3. I think it requires support. And then the people that are problem to this country, or they are problem to the whole world, are the youth. When we were at the World Economic Forum last year in Addis Ababa, the problem was that every country was talking about is youth unemployment. We have 1.something billion people in Africa now. 60% of these people, most of them fall within the age of 30 years and below, and they don't have jobs. We are not like the old people that, when you will find that almost 60 or 70% are retirees. We have youths here, very vibrant youths. Our demographic profile is so scattered. In Nigeria, when you say 170, when I'm making my own projection, I'm making a projection of 200 million people. I now look at 170. The 170 is the one that they say they have captured. And I look at 200 million. That's the size of the market I keep looking at. Now in Nigeria, you find our youth. Most of them they like entertainment, they don't want to get it. But what is the problem? They cannot access funding. So we needed to learn from India. How are they be able to come up with very creative and innovative products to allow people that don't even have any collateral? Because our banking law says that if I give you money to a certain amount without collateral, it becomes criminal. It becomes criminal. So we went in, had an agreement with the Nexim Bank of India, signed an MOU, and then we brought them to the country. We did that thing before Mr. President in November 2010 made an announcement that he was putting down $200 million to deepen the creative entertainment industry. By the time that announcement was made, we already set the stage. So Nexim was in the forefront of developing the operating guidelines. We developed the operating guidelines. We discussed with all the stakeholders in the industry and said, you are the ones that are going to use this. So let us have your own input. We discussed with them. We went to India. We stayed there for about 2 weeks. Went through all their financing program and all the institutions related to entertainment. When we brought them to Nigeria, we said, we want you to meet all the relevant stakeholders. They met with CBN, they met with the Minister of Finance, Trade and Investment, NICOM, that's National Insurance Corporation, because we discovered that you need to develop a lot of insurance products, to be able to finance the industry. What they did in India was that they made creative and entertainment as an industry. They designated it as an industry. And because they did that as an industry, they came up with some policy new majors and made their central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India, to come up with some forbearances and say, look, if a commercial bank wants to lend to the entertainment industry, you can do so on the basis of either cash flow planning or on the basis of getting some insurance products, either completion bond and all that. That is what they were able to do, yes, to be able to allow, because to get into Lagos now, young boys, they have, the IQ is very high, but they cannot even give you this pen to access money funding. So if you don't come up with very creative products of making these boys have easy access to funding,
that knowledge would be redundant.
That knowledge would be redundant. But so what we are doing is we have come up with the whole report, send it to the government now with our own suggestion on how we can
make
more progress and develop some other products outside just getting collateral. Because if you say that, look, you have to intervene in the industry without collateral, it's a regulatory constraint. It has to go through the National Assembly. But CBN, Federal Minister of Finance, Culture and Tourism can make a joint, presentation.